Hello, Jem Ayres here, sex coach and orgasmic embodiment facilitator. And I thought I'd talk about the Empowered Women's Book Club that's starting on the 26th of May. So this is the third book club, the third book that we will be working with in book club. So this is your time to join. And we're going to be working on the Sexual Practices of Quodoushka. So this is all about the shamanic beliefs of around sexuality, and in particular the Quodoushka beliefs. But first I want to talk a little bit about the book club. The book club is a brilliant container for women to attend and talk about the book and free up their language and their voice around talking about sexuality, hear other people's experiences. We set homework as well, which is always optional. You don't have to do it. But the book gives us the structure, and then we can really dive very deeply with each other within our weeks of journeying together. The last book club was really very deep and magnificent and really very, very nourishing for the soul. So it's a brilliant, brilliant place to be. So get yourself the Sexual Practices of Quodoushka, because what it talks about here is it talks about unlocking sexual conditioning. It also talks about the medicine of sex, learning through pleasure, and that learning and healing doesn't have to be a painful, traumatic experience. It talks about increasing the intensity of orgasms and the 9 different types of orgasmic expression. But one thing I particularly like about this book is it talks about female genital anatomy types and male genital anatomy types, and I'm going to show you what I mean here. So in the Quodoushka, it talks about the different characteristics that different genital anatomy types have. So for example, here is the female genital anatomy page, and it shows you all the different variety of what female genitalia can look like, but not limited to, obviously. But then also what you can do is you can find out what type you are, and that will tell you other characteristics about your genitals as well. So how long arousal can take, for example, how deep you might be, how wet you get or don't get, and other things that can just be more helpful information for our sex lives, but also our compatibility with partners. Because for those of us that connect with partners of the opposite gender, there's also the male genital anatomy type, and it talks about the different characteristics and who they connect with the best. So I'm going to read you a bit here. So this one talks about coyote men. They all have names of animals because that's the shamanic practice of being very elemental. So they also talk about orgasms in the sense of north, south, east and west, north being earth orgasms and how different they are. And so this is about coyote men as lovers. Coyote are one of the most clever and resilient animals around. They are their incredible ability to adapt and to adjust to changing environments makes them one of the few species that can thrive close to humans in cities and towns. Native Americans call them tricksters because their cunning antics tend to get them in and out of all sorts of unusual situations. Coyotes are notably intelligent, determined hunters. But then it goes on to say that as lovers, coyote men are the most resourceful, adaptable and creative of all the genital anatomy types. They have kind hearts and are fun to be with. They are highly sexual, mischievous and most of all persistent. So again, it's just interesting information to look at how your characteristics may affect your personal pleasure but also your connection with a partner. What else can I read you? This is a good bit. Okay, so orgasms are a sign of what we need. Brilliant. Okay. One of the reasons we enjoy orgasms so much is that while certain parts of our brain are lighting up and others are shutting down, those feel-good hormones are rushing through the bloodstream. We get a respite from everyday thinking. For a brief time, we can hear, see, feel, and even taste things more clearly. Our best orgasms are spontaneous, and each one shows us what our bodies need. Some orgasms take us into quiet moments of inner solace. Some leave us doubled over in uncontrollable laughter, while others send our minds into another time and dimension. They make us cry, sing, bond, or quake with pleasure. Each of these expressions helps us reach a state of equilibrium, vitality, and peace. Describing orgasms on a wheel makes each direction equal. So none has any higher place than any others. So a south orgasm balances emotions by releasing laughter or tears. A west orgasm restores the body with powerful shakes and tremors. And north orgasm comes in gusts that clears the mind, and east orgasms ignite our creative spirits. So another brilliant way of looking at sexuality and learning about ourselves. So I really, really recommend this book, and join in the book club, please, on the 26th of May. More details below on how you can book. Ciao, ciao.